hear me, Patrick?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hello, Patrick, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you very clear.
Hello, Patrick, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So if you can hear me, could you just kindly can you join in with the other Revamp Raves network?
All right, no problem.
So that I can assign you co-hosts or something.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm coming. Give me some minutes.
Okay. Hello, Mohammed. Hello. And I'd like to say that it has been awesome so far. Since 2020, since we started the program, we've been on a journey to ensure that we're equipping young people to ensure that they are not only just learning about climate change, but also transferring this knowledge into the workspaces. And so far, we've been able to achieve that through a 14 weeks training. So over the next 14 weeks after today, we would have each and every single one of you be a part of the program where you'll be learning not just about climate science, but also about policy, governance, up until finance. So the next 14 weeks is going to be defining for each and every one of you. And I wouldn't want to bore you so much with some of the content that we have for you, but would want to show you and also co-learn with you guys on some of these aspects of climate change. And I hope that you not only leverage this opportunity because it is free, but also you're able to connect with some of the experts that we've put together who would be teaching you all through this. So today we'll be going through the theme, which is the Baku Climate Framework. We all know the Paris Agreement is one of the crucial parts of climate change, where we get to learn about how international policies are being made and agreed on by all nations, and also how nations would be thriving and striving to achieve the nationally determined contribution embedded in the Paris Agreement. And I hope through the conversations we'll be having today, you'll be able to learn and also like set the pace for it. So secondly, I would like to also thank some of our partners who are here. We have the Act for Food, Act for Change Global Coordinator who is here. We have our keynote speaker who is the person of the special assistant to the to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, also a part of us today, who will be sharing with us the keynote speech, and also some of our lineup panelists, and also some of our lineup guests who would also be sharing some goodwill messages with us. This is your time to learn. This is your time to shape some of the things that you want to do. And this is your time to also get the required mentorship through learning that you've been looking for. It's been a great experience, because when I started out as a youth advocate, I didn't have these opportunities that you all have now to define it. So I welcome you all once again. I say thank you to each and every one of you for being here. And I hope that you not only find this useful, but you also leverage the learnings that comes with it. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mohammed.
Thank you very much for that educated speech. There's a lot of skills beautiful program that how it's also created and the subject to the present out of but I would go ahead and speak who is one of the outcast and commemorate for that. They have been doing a great job staying the energy consumer program and the energy that is happening in the realm of everything. Corporate yourself and environmentalists, and we welcome this program. We want to hear your happy there.
Okay, so Mahmoud, I don't think that we heard some of the things that you said, but I'll probably just take it from here. I think would like to welcome Comrade Yusuf Kilani. Comrade Yusuf Kilani is the essay to the President on climate matters, and I'll just try to run a brief of his bio. He's an environmental consultant, climate activist, and a politician. He is a former president of the National Youth Council on Nigeria, the umbrella body representing voluntary youth organization worldwide. He holds a bachelor's degree in economics from Olabisi Onabanjo University and a master's in public international affairs from the University of Lagos. He previously worked at Right Food as an assistant national sales manager. So I welcome Comrade Yusuf Kilani, who will be giving us this keynote speech for today. Comrade, if you're here with us, could you kindly join us and speak with us? Thank
Hello,
you.
good morning. Good morning, and it's nice to be here with you guys this morning. And I would just join to appreciate you for the wonderful program and the wonderful efforts you're doing for the environment. So I'm right here with you guys.
Okay.
We want to hear
yes, comrade. So would like to.
It's great to have you.
Yeah, Mr. Mohammed, I think your voice is a bit faint. I'm actually struggling to get to hear me, but to hear you. But I want to confirm if everyone can hear me. And
yes, we can hear you loud and clear. So go ahead, sir.
okay, okay.
yes.
Okay. All right. Once again, I want to thank you all for having me this morning. I want to especially apologize. This time happens to be the period that we're celebrating the 2 years anniversary of the president. We have a lot of projects to be commissioned and assignments ongoing. But like I told the organizer of this event, climate change activities is my life. Environment is what I eat, what I sleep with, and something that I dream about all the time. So I will always find a way, no matter the very tight schedule, to at least come and play my role and actually intervene. So I'll be here with you guys briefly because I need to run back to site. And as you're all aware, this week happens to be the 25th anniversary of ECOWAS, and the president is inaugurating certain projects, and also the second anniversary. So once again, I want to congratulate the host and the entire members of the Revamp Network for this wonderful event. Though an online engagement, but it is key, and that is what the world actually deserves right now. I want to thank the anchor, Mr. Mohammed. I want to thank you for the wonderful works you're doing as well, and all the participants. I can see the great panelists that you have, and I want to assure us all that we have a lot to actually learn today, because this is just one thing we need to continue to do. Continue to inform ourselves, pass the message of the environment, and also find a way for us to play our role. The theme of the event, looking at the Baku Climate Framework, which is very key. Usually every conclusion at every COP in the last 5 years, rallied around the youth, the role of the youth. And I could remember in Sharm el-Sheikh in 2022, the former president of the United States, Mr. Barack Obama, did emphasize so strongly the role of young people, what young people need to do. And I could also remember in Dubai, the immediate past president, Mr. Biden, also saying the same thing, towing the same line. And that was also reiterated at the Baku Climate Conference last year as well, the role of the young people. Those our parents, they played their role. It was during their time the devastating effects to the environment was discovered, and they try to play their role. We are currently playing ours, and we need to train the upcoming ones on what they need to do. Nature did create a very good environment for us. We met it well, very good air to breathe in. The trees were there to take up our carbon dioxide, and they were also there to give us our oxygen, and we're living well. Nature, the earth as it is, we have the mountains, we have the valleys, we have the lakes, we have the land areas, we have the forests, we have the mangroves, and we have the land areas for habitation as well. And we have the animals, trees, everybody living in there. It was okay for everyone until the man-made activities brought us to where we are right now. And it is very, very important we take decisive action such that things do not go worse than what we are currently observing. And as part of my keynote address to this wonderful gathering, everyone has a role to play. Like I said, it's a circular environmental economies, like I used to say. The plants, they have their role to play. The animals, they have their role to play. And also we, humans, we also have our role to play. And we have the major role to actually play. The Baku Climate Framework has concluded at the last conference, even though it was something that was way below our expectations, but as it is, like I said, it's something that we have to continue to appeal, and we have to continue to do our own bits. It was a bit disappointing that despite the very strong agitations that has been an ongoing discussions over the years at the Baku conference. The developing countries only agreed to raise about $300 million a year, and globally working towards raising a 1.3 trillion in 10 years by 2035. And the commitment from the developing countries of 300 million is low, very far below what is expected to actually carry out activities in the mitigation and adaptation. But as it is, that's what we have, and it's also give us that opportunity for us to actually think inwards and also think what we can also do. But the thing there also is that the entire African nations contribute less than 1% to global emission, and so of course a lot is expected from the developed countries, who are majorly the north pole of the continent. while the down south seems to be where we have a lot of the developing economies and also the underdeveloped economies. So we have a lot to play. And as we can all see, the entire globe is facing the consequences of the effect of climate change in different areas. Even the number one polluter, which is the United States, unfortunately, a lot of devastating activities as a result of a climate change effect is happening around there. And that's why we're a bit surprised that the president will still continue to argue, against climate change, that it's not real, and then still saying it's a myth. Just this year in February, when the a part of the country was experiencing, excessive cold period, doing like a -25, -20 in some parts of New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts. We see in the same America, the um, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, California, also at the same time experiencing very hot, weather situation. And we all are aware of the bush fires that took out a very huge land areas, And despite all of this, we still see a government that is still doubting the effect of climate change. Right now, the country is experiencing where just in the spring, walking into the summer, and this is the time where you have all the hurricanes, the storms, and all of that. And I think these are enough visual, happenings that should convince us that this thing is real. Likewise, we have in the South America, the Amazon, which is where we're taking the COP this year. The Amazon has been burning for years and a lot of activities going on there. And as you can see, earlier this year, the United Nations is looking at protecting the mangroves. And quite a lot of the mangroves across the world, you find it around the down south and mainly in South America, and also some Asian countries as well. So they're also going through a lot of devastating effects. Likewise, the Asia areas are experiencing very massive flooding, water taking up the land areas. And of course, we have our own fair share in Africa here. Also, Europe, from predictions, Europe is going to experience a lot of city flooding during the rainy season this year, and that has been predicted. And also during the summer, it's going to be extremely hot as well. So all over the world, everyone is actually facing the physical effects of climate change. And at the last conference in Baku, like I said, one of the major outcomes, which, sorry, the panelists will still deliberate more on it, but just trying to just introduce them. It's the area of climate finance, to raise 1.3 trillion dollars in the next 10 years, and the developed countries only committed about $300 million annually for a start, and that is also still going. Another aspect of the outcome is the area of human development. We're preaching energy transition, and the labor organization in the world is also coming into like, okay, energy transition, the jobs will be lost. So how will these jobs be protected? And so that led to one of the outcomes in the area of human development. That means we have to create decent jobs for people. People need to get the adequate skill for them not to be out of place. If we're introducing electric cars, we're introducing different renewable energy solutions, we need to upskill our people. We need to empower them. We need to keep them up to date, so that their jobs will be protected, because where people do not have jobs is a very big problem. And as you can see, while we're discussing trying to make countries to commit to the Paris Agreement reached in 2015. In 2020 came the COVID, and the COVID did affect a lot of countries. A lot of countries' national income were battered, they were frustrated, jobs were lost. And so also the discussions on climate change resumed in Glasgow in 2021, and ever since then we've been struggling to actually come back. So it's while we're talking about energy transition, we need to ensure that people are protected to securing their jobs, and that's probably one of the second outcome of the Baku Climate Framework, which is in the area of human capital, human development as well. Then as well, the energy transition itself, which is the major outlook in the mitigation and adaptation strategy. That means looking at alternative energy sources. And I would like to bring this in. Nigeria, we have a lot of gas we're wasting, and the government decided that, okay, we're going to compress them and introduce the CNG. CNG is out, and a lot of, which is one, it's cleaner than fossil fuel, though still a process though, but then we feel we need to protect our economy as well. We want to make some money to bring about those infrastructures that we need as well. So it's a step. It's not something you fly into. It's a step-by-step thing. So we're currently now we have introduced the CNG, and a lot of vehicles are actually getting interested in that. And a lot of engines have been converted into CNG vehicles, which cost less, which emits less carbon, even though there's still some carbon still being emitted, but it's a bit lower. And also at the same time, we're bringing in gradually the issue of electric cars. Electric cars is not cheap, and this is a country where people are still trying to conform with the realities of the economic situation we have around us. And so we're bringing the electric cars gradually, because it's not just to bring in the cars. The major thing is the charging points. So, and the government cannot do all of that alone. So we're going into partnership with development partners and other consultants and companies who will take that up, discussing with the automobile companies who will probably set up the charging centers, which will take the place of gas stations. So we need to have a lot of that before the commercial guys will be so motivated to bring in the electric vehicles, where some are beginning to come in. So like I said, it's still expensive. And the very fourth outcome of the climate and Baku agreement is the issue of transparency, that everything we are doing, everybody must be in the know. What happened at the Baku conference, actually, the outcome wasn't so surprising to some of us who participated at the pre-COP in Bonn earlier in June last year, because a major discussion at that pre-COP meeting was where to domicile the funds for the loss and damage, if it's going to be the World Bank or if another entity will be created for that. While the developed countries who are contributing more, pushed for the World Bank, and the developing countries were like, okay, the challenge in getting the funds from the World Bank, even though the funds are meant for these specific purposes. But at the end of the summit, it was agreed that it should be domiciled at the World Bank, and which is an effort for the very first time. Developed and developing countries were actually discussing this. They debated it, and they had to agree. Unlike before, where the developed countries would just take a decision. So the developing countries were actually involved, and this is part of the transparency. The same thing happened at the Baku. If you remember, it was almost like 4 or 5 days, 2-3 days after the conference before an agreement was reached. So for whatever efforts that every country, every business, and the environmentalists will have to put into ensuring that we meet the target of reducing global emission to 1.5 degrees Celsius, all activities must be open. It must be transparent, and everybody must be in the know. And these are the 4 key outcomes of the Baku Global Conference, and the discussions are still going. June, in the next 2 weeks, we'll be converging in Bonn to actually continue discussion, taking a look at what happened at the last COP, then also look at what will be coming up in Brazil, where we'll be having at the COP 30 later in November this year. So in all of this, it shows that we all have a role to play. We all have, we need to educate ourselves. We need to do a lot of things, and my office is doing a lot in respect to that. People talk about climate finance, but is the major discourse now, but quite a lot of people do not really understand it. So the what we discovered from our data we collected is that quite a huge population of the country, not just in Nigeria, even in Africa, are yet to understand the devastating effect of climate change, and you actually understand what it means. And you can try it when you meet with people in your school, in your religious centers, in your community. Speak about climate change to them. It sounds strange to them, So what my office is basically doing right is the area of education and creating awareness. And we're having a program where we're going to raise 2 climate champions in all the 774 local governments in Nigeria, because the education and the sensitization must be a continuous effort. People must understand what we want to talk about. If you don't understand climate change, how do you discuss climate finance with them? How do you discuss the issue of mitigation with them? People don't even understand that the major cause of the security situations we're having in the north central area is related to climate change. Flooding in the southwest affecting people's farmlands within the south region. Ocean surge, people are running up north. People in the north, there's drought, desertification. The desert is spreading. The cattle herders cannot get enough grass to fill their herds, so they have to move down south. And the meeting point is the north central. And that's where we've been having the major security challenges in the last 15 years of this nation. So while the NSA, the national security, is taking action, we are also in educating the people as well, so that they understand that this is climate change and we get it right. So once again, I want to thank the organizer of this program, and I want to thank the panelists who have created time to be here today. We'll get to learn a lot, and we'll continue our emancipation efforts in the area of trying to create a good environment for us. So I thank you all for coming, and I thank you. Do have a very fruitful deliberation, and we have more of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Comrade Yusuf Kilani, for the very insightful keynote speech that you've given to us. And then I love the fact that you've mentioned the various dimensions of how climate change is affecting each and every single one of us, but specific to how education is a crucial part to ensuring that people are taking the right steps to help combat climate change through knowledge expansion. And I think that it is the core of what we're doing today by educating people, not just in Nigeria or Africa alone, but people also outside the African continent, because it is crucial that each and every single young person understand how climate change affects not just them alone, but also the broader community to which they live, to which they build their dreams, and to which they foster their vision for the world. So we are particularly glad to have heard some of the very insightful key points that you've mentioned during your keynote speech, and I hope each and every single one of us are taking these into context. So while we wait for Mahmoud, I would like to call 5 crucial guests who are with us today. They will be giving us the goodwill message. These 5 guests are partners who have been good to provide us with post-program internship opportunities. And I hope that throughout this program, we are learning, we're building capacity, and also ensuring that we're building off-classroom capacity. So I'd like to call Sarah. Sarah Verna is the current regional lead for ECOP program. So ECOP program is the Early Career Ocean Professional Program, which is officially endorsed by UNESCO in helping to champion the United Nations Oceans Decade. So this program is particularly crucial because it's mobilizing the global youth who are working around ocean conservation, ocean management, marine wildlife management, to ensure that we're reaching the goal of the Ocean Decade and the broader Paris Agreement. So Sarah, if you're on this call, could you kindly share your message with our students?
Hello everybody. Good morning. Thank you, Abimbola, for the introduction. I hope everybody's hear me. Can you just double check there, please?
Loud and clear.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah Viana. Like Abimbola said, I'm the regional coordinator for the Early Career Ocean Professionals program, which is an endorsement program by the UN Ocean Decade. So my message here as a partner of Revamp Brave Network on the Cohort, but also within our node, I would like to pick up the attention for the youth and the early career professionals in Africa that this course is an opportunity that you have not only to enhance your skills, your professional skills for yourself, but to make a big difference and a long-term difference in our continent. Because once you acquire the knowledge, once you acquire your baseline information on climate education, climate action, on sustainable development, you're going to be even more powerful to make a difference in our continent, to make achievable projects in terms of climate change adaptation, in terms of climate change mitigation, and also any other kinds of sustainable development projects. So as a youth, and we all know in the African continent, we know that the youth in the young people are the majority of our populations. If I'm not wrong, it's more or less 65% of the African population are of youth and young people. So that meaning that you all have power in your hands to make a difference, to fight for future where we have equality of education, not only related to the oceans or climate change, but overall to fight for better investments and policies surrounding the subject on climate change, on sustainable development. And that way we can thrive as a continent even more, because I'm pretty sure Africa has, like Mohammed and the other speakers told us briefly before, the African continent is one of the most diverse continents of the world. We have everything in hands, and climate scenarios are not very bad in terms of other continents. So we have a bit of advantage on our side as well. Keep in mind that, yes, this is predictions and everything can change over time. But when we compare Africa to other continents, we do have a positive, let's say, a positive side of the climate crisis, that we can take over the leadership to make a difference, to take over the projects that are groundbreaking. And I believe the Revamp Rave Network, I have to say so much thank you for Abimbola and her team for building up this awesome awesome course that is really not only about, we always talk about ocean literacy, but we are talking about climate literacy, which is essential to make this big growth that we all are dreaming about, to make a difference to Africa. So that's my message for the new cohorts. I'm pretty sure we're going to come across sometime soon, I think in 15 days time, during the ocean conservation module. And that's it. Welcome to the participants, and we are very excited also as EcoPraf Canoe to, in the future, welcome the top selected participants of this course as in the interns of our program. So that'll be a very exciting opportunity for us as well to work side by side with you even more for a little longer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for the very insightful goodwill messages that you shared with us. Sarah is one of our tutors who will be taking the Ocean Conservation and Marine Wildlife Management course. So when you're in class in the next 15 days, do well to learn as much as you can, because that course is one of the best courses that I like, because I'm also passionate about the ocean. So thank you so much. Without wasting so much time, I would also like to call Desmond. Desmond is from EV World Africa. So he's here to give us his goodwill messages, or his goodwill message, as the case may be. So Desmond, if you're here, over to you.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Abimbola. Mic check. Can you hear me?
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. So
loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you. So good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, wherever part of the world you're at. I really want to thank Revamp Brave Network for the opportunity given to me again to give a special speech. Yeah, today again. Yeah, thank you, Abimbola, and your team. You're really doing a lot, especially when it comes to advocacy in climate change. Yeah, so my team, young climate champions, congratulations, future leaders as well as change makers. Congratulations once again to be part of this cohort, and it's really a privilege for me to stand before you today at this moment to talk briefly, also to charge you on this program. You are just starting, and also talk briefly on the Baku Climate Framework, which I think the guest speaker has said a lot about it. So it's just something brief I'll just say about it. So this is not just a collection of words, like you see the Baku Climate Framework in solidarity for the green world. It's a powerful call to action and also a blueprint for collective future, as well as a testament to the unwavering spirit of the unity required to build a truly sustainable planet. We are at the crossroad facing this undeniable reality of uh, this changing climate. Yet within this challenging challenges lies an extraordinary opportunity. Yeah, and it's an opportunity for young generation armed with knowledge as well as passion to redefine our relationship with the earth. And this urgency of climate action is clear, but so too is the boundless potential within each of you to drive meaningful change. The Bangkok climate framework emphasizes on solidarity for a green world, and this means working together. It means recognizing the climate action is not a solo endeavor, but a collective journey that transcends borders as well as communities. It means ensuring that the benefits of this green transition, like a cleaner air, lower energy costs, are equitable, shared by all, especially those communities that have historical bonds that bonds of population. So the role in fostering this equitable transition in advocating for accessible energy, like that for the energy access, cleaner air, and also in educating our peers is very, very paramount. The knowledge you gain here, whether it's about climate science, marine, renewable energy, it's not just an academic knowledge. It's the foundation upon which I think you will build a greener world. You are also learning to identify challenges, evaluating strategic responses. Bimbola talked about finance, which I think I want to be part of that lecture, and also find a way to propose actionable intervention. This is very, very essential for climate champions. Also understanding the problem and actively shaping the solution. Let's look at our African context. And I know you know the statistics where they said about 60% of the young age are 25%. And this is I see it as an opportunity for us to see how we leapfrog this traditional carbon incentive development path, curbing these menace that we are in at the moment. And then you can help build resilience, decentralized as well as cleaner transportations that the guest speaker talk on the e-mobility as well as the CNG conversations that are started in Nigeria. And then energy system that is from the ground up, fostering local manufacturing, creating green jobs, and also ensuring skills transfer. So this is not just about adopting technology, it's also about shaping a sustainable economic future for your region. So wherever you are, see it as a way of shaping the sustainable economy of your part or wherever region you are at. So I will say, as you embark on this learning journey, remember the power you hold. Yeah, I would end by saying that. Remember the power you hold, your enthusiasm, your innovative spirit, and your commitment are the driving force for changes. So embrace this challenge, collaborate as much as you can with your cohorts, with the speakers, the lecturers, facilitators. Collaborate with them and never underestimate the ripple effect of your action. Yeah, I will say that. Never underestimate that. No matter how little it is, I've mentored a lot of youth, a lot of them who want to transit into cleaner sector, the renewable energy sector, climate change, and all. Yeah, please do not underestimate the power you hold. You are not just a student here or a fellow or a cohort. You are the architect of a sustainable future, the champion of a green world. So please take note of that. You are the architect of a sustainable future, as well as the champion of a green world. Thank you very much, everyone. And I hope I stick to time. I didn't want to pass the time. Thank you, Abimbola, once again. Thank you to your team. Nice seeing
Thank
you guys.
you,
Okay, and
thank you,
congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Desmond, for the very powerful speech that you've given to us. And I like the fact that each of our guests giving us this goodwill are intertwining these messages to speak directly to young people. I know that when I first started out as a climate advocate about 5 years ago, I had a lot of troubles trying to find a space that would teach me things, and most of the platforms that were available at the time, the money to pay for these courses were a lot. And so bringing these resources together, reaching out to 28 tutors and them giving us their time to teach young people for free is something that we do not take for granted. So thank you for charging our young people to be champions that they already have, to do more, to be more, and to also create the impact that is needed in the world. So thank you so much, Desmond, and also thank you, Sarah. So now I would like to call Stephanie. Stephanie is the Global Youth Campaign Coordinator for GAIN and also Act for Food. So I would like her to introduce herself and also give the goodwill messages that she has for us. Stephanie, if you're here, could you kindly speak with our young people here today?
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. If I start cutting out, just let me know and I might turn off my video so you're able to hear me. But hi, everyone.
Sure.
It's so nice to be here. My name is Stephanie, and I'm the Global Youth Campaigns Coordinator at the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition and Act for Food. So just a little bit about Act for Food. It is a youth-led and youth-initiated movement that was founded in 2021 at the United States Food System Summit by a group of like a handful of young people who are demanding a seat at the table. And these young people basically built up this movement, and now we have over 25 young people around the world working on various food system problems and solutions. So I'm super excited to be here and to be co-leading the course Climate Change, Food Security, and Land Use Management. I'm a firm believer in taking an integrated and holistic approach to sustainable development. One simply cannot be without the other, and we are all intrinsically linked. So it is therefore crucial that we find a balance between our food systems, and that's all the way from food like production to consumption, and the preservation of natural resources within the context of climate change. And I really hope that by learning about this nexus between climate change, food security, and land use management, we're able to create avenues for innovative, nature-based solutions to our global crises. So to reiterate from the other speakers, yes, every single one of you here today holds the power necessary to make a difference. And this year in particular, if you are active in the global spaces, youth is really on the agenda. For example, CADUP in Kampala, which just happened, or the Africa Food System Forum in Senegal, and even COP30 in Brazil, youth are on the agenda. So this is the perfect time for you guys to enter this world and focus on youth empowerment and youth engagement. So take the learnings from the next few weeks into these spaces. And my message for you today will actually be in the form of 3 top tips for you to carry during the next few weeks and beyond. So my first tip is that our knowledge and lived experiences make us key partners in driving transformation across the development sectors. Now, note that I used lived experiences because often you'll find yourself in a space where youth are not seen as having traditional experience, being in a job for more than 10 years, but your lived experiences, your journey through life can challenge how older generations have been thinking. Think of top-down approaches versus community-led. Think of complex solutions versus, much simplified solutions. And remember that, we're always told that we are the future generation. But honestly, I think we are the current generation. We're already here. We're already capable of making decisions, and we already are making decisions. We have young people who have demonstrated the leadership qualities that are necessary in driving the sustainable development agenda forward. We have young people who are coming up with innovative, community-based solutions. We have young people influencing policy to be more inclusive. And we have young entrepreneurs breaking down barriers. And I really hope that this course in the next few weeks will support your lived experiences and your passions and take you even further. My second tip is to find your niche and run with it. There are so many aspects of climate change and sustainable development. We have science, policy, technology, and a lot of this that you will be learning over the next few weeks. So when you find something that you're really passionate about, hold on to it. Even if it's in a field where, youth are not as welcomed, like maybe politics and governance, because always remember that anything for young people without young people is against young people. You deserve to take up space and to have a voice. And my last tip for today is you get out what you put in. So make sure over the next few weeks you're participating, you're engaging with tutors and your fellow participants. If a course stands out to you, see if you can get in touch with the tutor or their organization. Making sure you're asking questions, because the more effort that you put into this, the more likely that you will reap the benefits, even if it's not so immediate. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to engaging with all of you over the next few weeks, and I wish you the absolute best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for the very insightful goodwill speech that you've just given to us. And I hope that each and every single one of us are beginning to understand and also leverage the opportunities that each of our speakers have been hammering on for you to leverage through this course. So without further ado, I would like to call Cinderella. So we're going into the panel session now, where our guests are going to be talking on some specific topics on the Baku Climate Framework, specific to how young people can be active participants and what the entire Paris Agreement from the Baku lens is telling us, is speaking to us, and would like to have you give your talk on the topic. Cinderella, if you're with us, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I hope we are all doing well. My name is Cinderella Ndlovu, and I'm joining in from Zimbabwe. And I'm attempting to share my screen right now. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen. We can see your screen.
All right. Okay. Perfect. So, thank you so much for the honor of inviting me to be part of the panel. I remember during COVID, I was also part of the first cohort, and I learned a lot because the cohort came at such a time when I was also starting my own initiative, which is today known as Green Heart. So I'm going to be sharing about why youth leadership is not a token in climate justice. Just a brief introduction about myself. I know we are going to learn more about each other and get to know each other very, very well throughout the learning programs that we have in the next coming weeks. As I already mentioned, my name is Cinderella Ndlovu, and I am part of the Rotary International Organization. I'm also an environmental scientist and a climate change expert. and recently a Mandela Washington Fellowship alumni for 2024. I've also participated in the Conference of Parties from COP 27, 28, and 29, and I hope that I'll be able to also participate in COP 30 this coming November. I also do greenhouse gas inventory compilation for my country, looking at NDC tracking in the waste sector. So a bit about my organization. Excuse me, Green Heart is a youth-led environmental nonprofit organization which is based in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, and our mission is to inspire and promote environmental consciousness, creativity, and sustainable development. And all of our work is towards communities that are climate literate, resilient, and proactive in solving environmental challenges. So the work that we're doing is spread across 5 thematic areas, which is environmental education and awareness, biodiversity conservation, waste management, sustainability, as well as climate solutions. So back to the topic that I'm discussing today, which is tokenism in terms of youth participation and youth leadership. If we look at the definition of tokenism, we are talking about, or we are referring to the superficial inclusion of individuals from marginalized groups to give the appearance of equality without granting real powers or influence. And we're seeing a lot of that, not only in the climate justice space, but in a lot of spaces in general, where we have tokenism being mistaken for active participation of young people, whereas those young people that are participating in code do not have real powers or influence at the end of the day. We see young people being invited to events for appearances, but being excluded in decision-making processes. We also see consultations that are being held without the intention to implement youth recommendations and youth-led initiatives that are being underfunded and unsupported. So I think the other speakers have already highlighted how young people across the continent of Africa are a very important group in the sense that they do not only constitute the majority of the population across the continent, but they also have a lot to offer in terms of solving the climate crisis. Young people have innovative ideas, innovative solutions, and young people bring fresh perspectives and creative solutions to climate challenges. Young people are deeply embedded in their communities and can mobilize grassroots actions effectively. Young people have a long-term commitment. Youth are invested, have vested interest in sustainable outcomes for the future. So their involvement, their leadership in climate justice should not be tokenism, but it should be real, meaningful participation where they're able to influence decisions, where they are also part of the decision-making processes, and they are supported to be able to execute their ideas for, excuse me, for the betterment of the community. So there are a lot of consequences to tokenism. For example, the impact of tokenism on youth, you find that it demoralizes and disengages young people from climate initiatives. You find young people ending up losing hope or giving up on their climate initiatives because of tokenism. Tokenism also leads to the perpetuation of existing inequalities and exclusion. Young people have already faced a lot of challenges in terms of their participation in different sectors. For example, the economic sector, the political sector, and tokenism then also leads to further existing inequalities and inclusion from some of these very, very important aspects of climate justice. And also it leads to the missed opportunities for innovative and effective climate solutions. when it comes to climate action, you find that a lot of policies and programs do not reflect the needs and the realities of affected communities. In this instance, young people, you find that there is lack of accountability and transparency in climate governance. You find that there is weakening of trust between youth and institutions. So as we are beginning this very, very important journey together, it's important that we move beyond tokenism and we formulate strategies for genuine youth leadership. I'm talking meaningful participation where youth are involved in all stages of climate policy development, from planning to implementation. I'm talking about capacity building, where youth are provided with the training, with the resources, with the mentorship to empower youth-led initiatives. I'm talking about inclusive platforms that create spaces where diverse youth voices, including those from marginalized communities, are heard and valued. I'm talking about accountability mechanisms to ensure that youth contributions are recognized and integrated into decision-making processes. And it's very important, again, when we are talking about youth leadership, youth participation, and this not being tokenism in climate justice, we also issue a call to our policymakers that it's important for them to allocate resources to support youth-led climate initiatives. It's important to ensure youth representation in climate-making bodies, for example, at the local level, at national level, at the regional platforms, and even at international platforms such as the Conference of Parties. I can give an example from my lived experiences, how it's so difficult to get funding as a young person to be able to participate in all of these very important platforms. And without the resources, without the support that's needed for young people to participate, it means that they're totally left out. We also need policymakers to implement the policies that address the specific needs of young people in the context of climate change. Young people are not a homogeneous group. They are a group that's diversified in and of itself, and they have different needs, they have different perspectives. Therefore, the policies that are existing or the policies that are yet to be crafted also need to be reflective of the needs of young people. And for the youths today, the young people that will be participating in the program, it's also important that you engage in climate advocacy and leadership opportunities, which I think you're already doing great on that because you are here today and you're going to be participating in the next few weeks in the program. It's also important to collaborate with peers and organizations to amplify collective impact. It's not a competition. There's power in collaborating with your fellow peers and identifying people that can be able to support your cause. That way you are able to amplify the amount of impact that you're making. It's also important to hold institutions accountable for genuine inclusion and support. So I'm also going to just give a sneak peek of some of the work that my organization is doing. On the left of the screen, you can see school students at a local primary school planting a tree. And then on the right of the screen, those are the very same trees and the very same students that planted them 2 years ago. So this goes to show the power of also catching them young, involving young people when they're children from as early as possible in the schools, so that they can also be able to start participating at that level. And we also have a number of programs and a number of initiatives that also empower young people to participate in local decision-making processes. On the screen, the last picture on the bottom row to your right, you can see young people in uniforms that had just participated in formulating a youth position paper on Zimbabwe's nationally determined contributions. And we documented the process, and we're able to capture their perspectives, their views on the nationally determined contributions as young as they are. We're also having young people doing meaningful work in the community in line with environmental conservation and climate change. On the left of the screen, the first picture, you can see a young lady with some tools there participating in a program on the eradication of invasive species at a local conservancy. And we also have our local authority also participating. Our mayor from the city of Bulawayo managed to get the Youth Climate Action Fund from the Bloomberg Philanthropies, which was distributed to a number of youth initiatives in the city that are working on climate and environmental issues. Climate justice also presents the opportunity for young people to lead the process, young people to lead the restoration of the environment, young people to be able to educate themselves amongst each other. And youth participation actually fuels climate action. It accelerates climate action, whether it's from formal or informal education programs, getting young people out there and harnessing their lived experiences to be able to co-design solutions that can make real meaningful change in their community. Climate justice also means that we are also creating opportunities for young people within the green economy through green skills, young people participating in smart agriculture that is adapted to the climate crisis, young people being able to make meaningful livelihoods from the different initiatives that they can do, at the same time being advocates for the environment and advocates for climate. And we also in the process of advocating for young people do not want to create a divide between the different generations. We also need to bridge the gap by bringing young people together with the older generation so that there is that knowledge exchange and cross-pollination between them, and the knowledge that is being shared from the older generation to the younger generation and from the younger generation to the older generation. Thank you so much. This is the QR code for the website for my organization. If you want to learn more, I look forward to working with you all the coming few weeks and getting to know more about you and the work that you're doing. And I hope this was motivational and helpful in terms of inspiring you to advocate for meaningful, real participation and not tokenism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cinderella, for this talk that you've put together and the presentation that you have done. And I know that every single young person on this call have taken one or two crucial and important information from what you've just said, because your session has given an overview of the state of young people, what young people are doing, giving yourself and your organization as an example, and also what we could do to better collaborate as young people. And I'm particularly glad because you were also part of the 2020 set and also taking one of the courses on this cohort program. I've seen some of the lovely things that you've done, even up until the conference of parties, the grants that you've been able to take to fuel some of the things that you do in your organization. So we are proud of you at Revamp Brave Network, and we are happy to be be part of your initiative, your experiences, and everything else. So without wasting so much time, I would like to call our next speaker, who is Mr. Sulaimon Arif Gabon you'll be taking us through the role of young people in greening African's food system. So, Mr. Sulaiman, if you're here, would like you to take charge of the call now.
Good morning. Is it good afternoon? Well, from me here, it's good afternoon.
Yes.
Thank you, Abimbola, and thank you everyone participating in this open conference. It's my pleasure to be here, and permit me that the session we're having together is a bit short, and also I'll prefer to just send my slides to Abimbola afterward. I have it though here, but the time won't permit me to really speak much to it because I'll rather try to speak more from the heart. I believe that my profile picture is showing.
Yes, it is.
Yes, so otherwise I could just put on my phone for a minute if you see what I look like during daytime. Yeah, at night I can't guarantee what I look like. So then permit me to then turn off the phone so that my network will be stable.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so yeah, from soil to strategy, it's exciting listening to the last speaker, and she's the only person I've been able to listen to because I'm also engaged doing some other things. But I'm happy to have listened, and I'm also more excited hearing from you, Abimbola, that the last speaker actually also had participated in this open conference at some point, one of the cohorts. That's a big kudos to her and also to Revamp. That's to say that you guys are doing something meaningful, and I urge you to keep up the good work. Without much ado, the topic you've given me actually is something that I think I've spoken about so much in the last 25, 27 years. And now sometimes when I sit back and watch, well, I'm no longer a youth. I wish I started to actualize some of the things that I've been saying myself. Maybe 25 years ago would have been a great time. Maybe 20 years ago would have been a great time. But you know, the thing about youth is that it's very good when it's around, but then it's never permanent. We all graduate, you know, from being youth. If we are lucky to be alive, especially in Africa, where the life expectancy is not so high. So if we are lucky to be alive and transit from being youth to get into the real life, we wish that we had done a lot. And I want to urge young people listening to me that we hold this continent a lot. We hold Africa to change our narrative. And the best opportunity for Africa to change this narrative first is in our young people. Africa is a young continent. And also, the agri space provides Africa the best opportunity to really turn things around quickly enough. In any case, not only should we be able to turn things around so that we're able to feed ourselves, but also because as bad as it is, forget what the map is looking like, Africa still holds the worst, most valuable resources in terms of keeping this planet green, keeping this planet cool, because we are burning off the planet. And that is why everybody has a responsibility to keep Africa's forest intact. Africa has more carbon sequestration in terms of forest than the Amazon. There's a lot of hype about the Amazon, and the hype is very, I mean, it's needed. We cannot hype enough the need to protect the world's resources such as the Amazon. And I'm only just making that in terms of comparative, that Africa has a whole lot that is not being hyped enough, and we are allowing things to go to waste either through unproductive, unsustainable clamor for survival, for food, for mining, for all sorts of things. So I am pushing the challenge to young people that you are indeed the now and the future of Africa. Because why do I say young people are the now of Africa? Most of the conflict across the continent, the young people are being used as cannon folders for those conflicts. If young people were to come together one day and say, no, not anymore, not in our name, that would be the end. The hunger that is ravaging Africa, if Africa's young people are empowered and they also are resolute to stand up and say, we're doing something about it, we're changing this narrative, it's also doable. Because as we know, the aging population, take for Nigeria, for instance, the average farming population in Nigeria is 60 years. Yet, over 60% of Nigerian population are under 25 years old. So what is happening? Are we saying that if the 60 years olders get too old to farm or die off, we're going to start eating ourselves? The potential to turn things around is in the hand of young people. So it's not just about greening the food system. It's not just about, when we're talking food systems transformation, we are talking about transformation that is looking at today and is looking at tomorrow. When we're talking about sustainable agriculture, we are looking at how do we bring the innovativeness, the strength, the zeal of young people to come to bear on the way we have done things traditionally. Because one thing is clear, we can no longer continue to do things the way we have always done. The times when you had less than 1 billion people on the planet and they could do whatever is far gone. Now we are over 7 billion going on 8. There's so many more mouths to feed. And that is why we have over 1 billion people who go to bed hungry every day. Not even talking about those who are forced to be that way because of immediate conflict. But because of unsustainable agricultural practices, because of ineffective food system, people are going to bed hungry. And the answer to that is to bring the strength, the zeal, the innovativeness of young people to bear to help change the narrative for Africa. Greening is not just about being environmentally friendly. If we don't shift towards sustainable and climate smart agriculture on the long run, we'll face more food shortage, more food price hikes, volatility, and worsening climate disasters. Greening involves using fewer chemicals, growing more diverse crops, conserving water, and producing food in a way that works with nature, not against it. And who are those to make this happen? It's young people. Not just because you have the energy, and I always try to emphasize that it is not only the energy and the excitement that young people are bringing, but it's also knowledge. Young people know more today than our ancestors knew. Yes, knowledge and wisdom may be two separate things, but really in terms of knowledge, a 20-year-old can warehouse the knowledge of 10 professors just on a tab, just on a phone. Because nobody really knows everything. It is about knowing where to find the information. Like they say, may the day never come when a lawyer knows all of the law. But also, may the day never come when a lawyer will not know where to find the law. So when you see a lawyer stand before judges and they are saying things, say, oh, so brilliant, he knows everything, it's like a dictionary, it's like, no, they know where to find the law. And that is the advantage that young people have today with technology. You know where the knowledge is. You know how to access the knowledge. You know how to utilize the knowledge. But are we having the opportunity to do that? And is there the zeal to do that? And that is why I started my statement by saying that young people hold this continent a lot. Young people hold this country a lot. When I say whole, it's not just, I'm not saying it in terms of, oh, the continent has given you so much. Perhaps the continent has dashed a lot of hopes. The countries have not, our leaders have not lived to their responsibility. Yes, that is it. But the reality is that for you to live in a better planet, you hold the planet. And when we say you hold the planet where you reside, which is in Africa. And that is what we mean by will, because really God has given us a lot. And for us to make the best of it, we have to take responsibility. So I am pleading really, that's why I really did not use slides. I want to speak from the heart because for over 26 years, I've advocated for young people taking up the space in agriculture. I've supported so many smallholder farmers, and I see them growing and aging, and their children are not there. I can tell you, their children are not. And I'm not blaming the young people. Africa has not presented its agriculture in an attractive way for young people. But I'm saying that nobody's going to do that. It's obvious that our leaders are not as responsible as should be. But we can change the narrative. You young people can change the narrative. Many of you are already doing something about it. And I'm urging those who are listening to me today to also, take up the gauntlet and do things about it. So when we're talking from strength to strategy, everything starts with the soil, it starts with the earth. But how do we access the right knowledge? How do we know about the best agronomic practices? How do we know how to access opportunities? How do we
leverage on
the resources we have as young people in terms of knowledge, in terms of technology, to be able to be more productive in a win-win situation? For instance, Africa has about the poorest in the world, the poorest farmer to extension service ratio in the world. And without having adequate extension service, most things cannot happen. And the truth is that young people have the opportunity to fill in that gap in a win-win situation. The farmer wins, the extension service provider, whatever kind of extension service you are providing, wins. The society also benefits. So this is why I go out and I keep pushing it back to young people. I know there are so many young people who are doing a whole lot of things using technology. There are a whole lot of young people doing things using crowdsourcing of information, crowdsourcing of resources, applying technology, providing access to climate information services, helping farmers to access market. There is a whole lot of places where young people can play. And it's not only that, you can also be the farmer yourself. It is cool now, and I'm happy that so many young people have gone into agriculture such that, 25 years ago, we used to find ways to say, oh, agric is cool. We don't need to shout it anymore. It's just a matter of people, seeing the benefit and going into it. Young people have gone into agriculture and they have made it look cool. They have made it look trendy. Now today you can sit in the comfort of your room, wherever you are, get on YouTube, and you'll find a lot of knowledge resources, a lot of young people sharing their agriculture experience from all over the world, especially across Africa, where the climate is similar. And that wasn't there 30 years ago. You probably need to go to FUNAB or go to some other institution to learn agriculture. Now, whatever area of agriculture you want to build your competence in, you want to build your enterprise around, you can have access to the knowledge. And a lot of young people are providing this support. Probably you have heard about Femi Adekoya, the flying farmer, who provides drone services to support the agric industry. And he's doing a whole lot in that space. And because access to agrometeorology information is important, access to information about what is happening, how do we, be smart in terms of applying, if it's fertilizer, if it's whatever things you need to apply. Do you have information, a bird's eye view of every part of your farm? This is a service that is bridging the gap around. We know of Brian Bosire in Kenya, who is working to put an end to you just doing farming by guesswork. So he's putting a lot of educational resources and AI analytics together so that you can access. Really, I want to emphasize again, agriculture is becoming really, really cool because you can use a tenth of the energy that our fathers used and be able to produce 100-fold of the same using the same resources that they have used, either in terms of land or water. Just with knowledge, just with applying AI, with applying agrometeorology information, you can do a whole lot. There is Gogolesu Malangu also in South Africa. who is doing a lot around aquaponics. Now, even for me, I want to start livestock on my farm. And the first thing I'm putting in place is, okay, how do I put in place aquaponics for the feed? This wasn't, I wouldn't be thinking of this 20 years ago. But reality is that knowledge is becoming more and more available. And then we are seeing people doing it and sharing the experiences. And this is the strong point for you young people. I'm very happy and proud of young people because of the way you come online and you share these experiences. I am learning a lot. I'm a farmer myself, and anytime I run into any problem, any critical question, recently on my farm, I had some attack of some pesticides, and I'm so determined not to use glyphosate containing chemicals. And I went online and I saw a lot of, resources on what alternatives, and most of these resources were made available by young people. So what we're doing today is also put together by a team of young persons. So I'm proud of you guys who are stepping up to the plate. But I just got to urge you that there's still a whole lot more. I need to get your peers, to get on board, because the responsibility to feed this continent and to diversify its economy into something more sustainable, something more inclusive, something more productive and more progressive, which agriculture presents, is our responsibility, especially that of you young persons. I also would like to share the story of Peter and Jojo, who is working to, improve the efficiency of the produce market in Kenya. I mentioned earlier, some of the challenges that farmers have is getting value for their produce, after putting in so much labor. The reason why we have so much post-harvest loss is because of poor access to market. The reason why agriculture looks as if it's a poor man's job is because of poor access to market. So when you have guys like Njojo, coming in to bridge that gap, it's a whole lot. We have Desmond Kone in Ghana, who is also a drone expert. And we have my friend Jehel Oliver, who pioneered Hello Tractors. In most places where you find tractors, they are mostly lying fallow because maybe just one person owns them. But he brought the Uber concept into equipment hiring, leasing, for the agri sector, and I think it's transformed quite a bit of in that space. So there's a whole lot that we can refer to in terms of what young people are doing. What I've said does not even give anything near enough credit to how adventurous, how entrepreneurial young people are stepping into the space, and how much they are sharing knowledge. But unfortunately, it's still a tip of the iceberg. It's still a drop in the ocean, and we need to do a lot more. Yes, some responsibility will be to be on the line of advocacy, putting pressure, on the system, on duty bearers to bring about the right policies, such that there'll be conducive environment, for young people to really thrive in agriculture. Some responsibility will be to provide access to market. Some will have to go into primary or value addition stages of agriculture itself. Some will have to provide services around knowledge. Some will have to provide services around logistics. Some will have to provide services around, marketing agri products and all of that. There is so much that you need to do. And the good thing is that whereas policies and government programs may not be catching up fast enough, but at least technology is helping young people to level the space. And this is where I want to urge that young people have a whole lot of response. Africa has the soil. Take, for instance, Nigeria. Even here in Lagos, where I live, you drop something anywhere, it grows. But man has evolved. Man evolved from gatherers, food gatherers, to hunters. And then from hunters, we evolved to agriculture. And since humanity evolved into organized agriculture, societies have been able to then organize themselves. And that is why you see the first human progress is actually through agriculture, even before we started to organize society. Now, if that has been the first human progress, it means that young people have the responsibility to take us out of this bohemian stage where we are, where you find conflict all over Africa. Most of the conflicts are due to resource constraints. You find farmer harder crisis in most places. These are things that technology, new knowledge can help to address, and we can change the narrative of the continent. We have the soil, we have the climate. Yes, there's climate change that's putting a whole lot of pressure on the continent. Yes, Africa is at the receiving end of climate impact. Yes, Africa is the least prepared to deal with the impact of climate change. Yes, Africa is the least able to bounce back after disasters precipitated by impact of climate change. Nonetheless, we are not going to allow our story continue to be in the negative. We have the power, we have the number of young people to change our narrative, and the responsibility and the challenge is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sulaiman. For giving us such an insightful conversation on the role of young people, what young people are doing, and also how young people are helping to strengthen food systems across all communities. And I'm sure that we have many young people amongst us here who are interested in agriculture and food security. And I'm happy that they'll be getting to learn from some of the tutors that you have personally mentored, because you are one of my mentors as well. So I'm equally glad that you're able to be here to share some words of wisdom with us, and also to give very insightful information on young people and what they can do and should do, and how they can tap into the various knowledge resources that they can find to help build more innovation, help scale more climate action, and help provide food in their locality. So thank you so much, Mr. Sulaiman. I can see here some of our tutors on this call, but because I cannot call each and every one of them, I would just like to call Dr. Zara. Dr. Zara is one of the tutors taking the climate change, water, and health course. And so I'll just like to call her to give just 2 minutes of encouragement and to just say a few words with us. Then we'll go over to the next thing that we have to do. Dr. Zara, if you can hear me, could you just kindly...
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to have participated in this conference today. And I'm from Iran. And I'm very moved when I see the enthusiasm of young people for progress and preservation of our land. I think that as a member of this network, I can share my knowledge and experience with all of the participants, and together we can build a better future and better life for all of the population and our community, not just for ourselves, actually for our future generations. So I will be able to share some information about the global perspectives on climate change, health, and water resources. And I think water is very important for all of us, because water is the source of life. So it is the right of all of the humans, animals, plants that have access to clean water and accessible water. And I hope that in this regard, we will be able to share various points of view. Thank you so much for the time, and I'm very happy that you gave me this opportunity to talk with you and other participants and audiences. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zara. So after we have this orientation, there's some information that we'll be sharing with our cohort participants, and some of the information you're asking for on the chat will be provided to you after the call. So you'll be getting a follow-up email that carries lots of information concerning next steps, the WhatsApp group, your course guide, and things like that. So be patient, and we'll keep giving you information as the time goes on. So without wasting so much ado, I would like to exempt Mr. Olumide Idowu, who fell shortly ill yesterday. So he's currently in the hospital receiving treatment, so he would not be able to be here. And our other speaker, I don't know, she was here on the call, but I think she's having some issues with her network, so she's been going in and out. So pending when she's able to have a stable network, will just keep the program going. So without further ado, I would like to call Favor. Favor is one of our cohort participant from the 2023 set. He'll be giving you a brief overview from his perspective on what the course is like, giving you an insider view of some of the things that we've been able to achieve. And he will also be giving his own testimonials on what the course has done for him. So Favor, if you're on this call, could you kindly share your perspective and an overview of what the course is about? And
Hi,
if you're
everyone.
okay.
Please
We
confirm
can
if
hear
you
you loud and clear.
all right. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
loud and clear.
So good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, and also good evening, depending on your geographical location. My name is Broderick Favor, and I was part of the 2024 cohort of this program. And I must say, it is one of those programs that came to me as a miracle. Shall I say a miracle because it opened the eyes to see the good things that comes from the Sustainable Development Goals. Prior to my acceptance or to participating in the Revamp Rave Network program, I had gotten a knowledge around the SDGs, the 17 goals, and it actually laid a foundation to solve problems, but it didn't give me the directive. Like I never got the right point I have to fall into. So I was confused a bit, but while I was um, aspiring, like I was kind of thinking, what will I do after this? I jumped into a Revamp Brave post that was demanding or was calling for applications in climate change. And as someone who has a background in the engineering space, I discovered that one of those SDGs goals is what the Revamp Brave is calling for. And I had no other option than to um, apply for the program. And from then till now, it has been a whole lot of inspiring and insightful moments because it came with rich content. You understand? It gives me the overview of what I can do actually in the space of the sustainable development goals and also as it concerns climate change. It is a program that actually comes with a whole lot of curriculum, if I could put it that way. The faculty head that will be coming on board for me, let me say, based on my own experience, they were well loaded. Let me say that they were well loaded and practical. Each sections had a whole lot of insightful moment. In fact, you will be wishing if this section will not end. We always love to have I think I was one of those luckiest person, let me say that way, because I actually approached some of those faculty head because of the enriching content they actually poured into us. I had the opportunity to reach out because it fall under my dispensation. I was like, wow, such a thing I can actually do it in my locality. Why not I get in touch with this particular faculty head and see what I can do? And she was very open. That was in the waste management section we had. She was very open, and currently I'm building a product around that area, which is something that if I wouldn't have achieved that if I didn't meet or I never came in contact with the Van Brave. I couldn't have. But this particular platform has actually created that avenue for me to leverage on the content and also the faculty head that were made available for us. And again, while I was in that program, we had a whole lot of engaging moments. Most especially, the one that got much of my time is that got my interest most is the um, project we did. It was something that came with, it builds your leadership skills anyway, and it builds your problem solving on how you can understand problem, and also how you can work with a diverse uh, set of humans. You understand, it kinds of help us to understand our differences, and also trying to cement it in solving a particular problem. That was one of those top-notch things. That, and our project, I think it was one of the best, and most of us from that particular theme were selected for an internship that also has given me more and more of opportunities. I was being selected I was being selected for an internship, a virtual internship with an organization in Abuja, and luckily for me, I was still selected from that particular internship for a program, a field work in Abuja, and it was actually a great experience. We still, in that particular program, I was still selected for another program that was organized by the German country. So look, you understand the connection, how it connects, how it has actually helped me to kind of fine tune my wants in the energy space. So it has been a whole lot of things. And for the participants that are coming, I think the best thing you can give for this program is your time, and your just understand what you are looking for. Don't just come to have the certificate. Yes, part of it, but as you're coming, come with the mindset that yes, I'm coming to get some knowledge so that I can become a solution in my community. There are a whole lot of the community needs you have, as I always say, the community needs environmentalists, people that can solve their problems. If you discover the numbers of ways we are actually having in the society, we these ways are more than innovators, and it has actually affected our well-being if you look deeply into the space. And also, if you look in the other side, you discover that those particular ways can also be they can be recycled, they can be reused to solve our own problems rather than it's causing problems for us. So I urge you guys to come in with the mindset of solving problems, with the mindset of using the knowledge to understand, to see problems, collaborate with your cohort members, with the faculty members, to solve environmental issues that surrounds us. And you have the best anyway. You have the best of it. You enjoy every. It could be time challenging. It could be time consuming. But when you put in your best in it, I assure you definitely you will get the best out of it. Thank you so much for having me share a little of my experience and what I've actually gained from the program. Thank you,
Thank you.
Abimbola.
Thank you so much, Bodrick, for that very insightful information that you've given to our cohort participants. And also, like I said to Cinderella, who was from the 2020 set, you are from the 2023 set, and I'm particularly proud of your growth and some of the things that you've been able to do thanks to the various tutors who has taken students across 14 different topics of climate change that you also have been able to learn from, and also being, showing, I think your group had the best caption project, and you had one of the some of the best reflection papers that you wrote. And so yes, there'll be caption projects, there'll be reflection papers that you write, and also you'd have direct mentorship with some of the tutors that will be on board taking you through all of these courses. So you have everything that you will ever need as your launch pad to be a climate advocate, or redefine or re-strategize your engagement if you already are a climate advocate in your own capacity. So this is not just for people who are coming in as newbies into the movement, but also for people who have been looking for opportunities to learn more, to be more. And I know a few few participants were speaking with me and they were like, I'm interested in this. And after the course, they're doing something different and they're doing much, much better. And most of our participants, even those that did not have the opportunity to get the internship, are doing exceedingly well, are doing beautifully well. So we're particularly proud. So without further ado, I would also like to call on Loretta. Loretta is from the 2020 set, and her journey is quite unique. And I would like her to like speak on her experiences during the cohort, as well as how it has helped, for her current endeavor. Loretta, if you're on the call and you can hear me, this is me asking you to speak.
Hi. Hi everyone. I hope we can all hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
Yes.
Just trying to make sure. So I started my journey with Revamp Rave. I think I found them out on like Instagram when I was trying to look out for what exactly I could do to contribute to my environment. At the time, I was just completing my bachelor's program in geography at the University of Lagos. And so it was a time basically where I had a little bit of time to spare. And so I came across the um cohort program on Instagram, and I think the whole framework was very catchy. The topics that were being presented were things that were of interest to me at the time. So I applied and I got into the program. It was a very, very rigorous program. Topics like the climate finance, the climate budgeting, or the climate governance, I think those are like one of the most important topics which I learned from, because the difference is most of the times when you have like very, very rigorous topics or platforms like these, they usually come at a cost. But for the revamp rave, it was something where all you needed was basically an internet connection, and you would be given the opportunity to gain so much knowledge. Not even so much knowledge. The fact that you could learn practical knowledge is more than what you've been taught in the class, is more than what you just walk past through every day. It's more than what you will see online or social media. So it was more of a very unique experience, getting to reach out to or have conversations with people in the field, especially young people or people who have been actively participating in the field. For example, you see speakers coming from various organizations, various experiences, various level of engagement in the climate space. I think that's one thing that made the whole program very unique. The fact that it is particularly tailored to touch each and every of these particular these very important topics, things you would not just come by every day. And so I made it I made it a very important part of me that period. I tried to put in my best. I think, this entire material, it's all available for you, but you also need to be able to engage with these things, because this is something that it's valuable and you should not take for granted. You do not know when you will need it, especially now that we're looking for more than just words, we're looking for more than just degrees. We want to see actionable plans. And I think that was the gap that Revamp filled, because aside from the talks or the write-ups or the documents you're being shared, you should be able to take away the practical aspects of this program, learn from what organizations are doing, how do people carry out their climate action plans, how is climate activities being presented on the world stage. So it's way more than just talk. Like, it gives you the opportunity to like see the reality, see everything in action, right? I try to engage with this program with the best of my ability. If I could not make it in any day, I would get the videos later because I believe at the time it was recorded. So I would always revisit my slides or revisit the videos. I had a book, I would jot everything down. I mean, it's a lot of information, but I feel like every day you should be able to take one thing out of your of the speakers. You take just one lesson learned per day, and I think that you're good to go. Then after that, I was luckily selected for an internship with the Early Career Ocean Professionals, which Sarah talked about. I was literally their first intern along with another participant, Bate Gabra. So the both of us worked together and were literally interns for early career ocean professionals. We help to build a node. We help to see what exactly is going on in regarding to ocean, in regarding to sustainability of the oceans on a global stage. So we had to have conversations with certain nodes from different continents, the South America or United or different countries. So it's more like a collaboration, everyone working together to see the ocean we want. Basically, that's what I've been doing for a couple of years now. I kind of like graduated from being an intern to becoming a program assistant. So I had to put in work in standardizing the notes. It's more of everything you've read, you want to see them in action. You want to be able to actually bring this ocean carrier, these people involved in ocean together. And I think that's a very unique blend. It allows us to translate whatever we've been seeing all through this while. You see them in action, you would have the ability to bridge these professionals because everyone is coming from different fields, right? I personally come from a field of geographic information science, and so most people, so it's more like how do people with these different experiences like ocean science or ocean biology or community engagement, how do they interact with each other in able to be able to get to your main goal, which is to conserve the ocean, to preserve the ocean, to bring about the ocean that we all need, because I mean the ocean is the source of livelihood for a lot of people. It's very important for the balance of the ecosystem, and so these things should not be taken for like it shouldn't be played with, right? That's what I've been doing. Basically, I've been working with Sarah. Sarah talked earlier about being the regional coordinator, and so I am literally her assistant at the moment, and then we work together to like move the ECOP program forward. So the overall takeaway is that do not take this conference for play. Do not see it as it's actually a privilege to be here, and so you want to make the best out of it. And I wish us all good luck, and I hope we all get the most out of this, and you definitely look back to this day and be like, I am grateful or I am happy that I have made use of my time and my resources well. Because at the end of the day, this is our world to manage. And if we do not manage it well, we would not leave anything for like our children and our children's children. So that's the whole point of this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorita, for the very insightful testimonial that you've given to us. And I would like to say that it's one thing to be provided with a platform to learn. It's another thing to do your very best. It's another thing to get the internship opportunity. It's another thing to like do your best during the internship opportunity to unlock other potential. Where we stop as an organization is giving you room to learn and also giving you room to build beyond the classroom capacity. Whatever thing you do after that time is left for you, your rigor, the vision that you have for yourself, and how you've been able to create a strategy from the course. We're providing you simply with everything, all the tools that you need, because I know that during my time when I started out, I didn't have a platform. I had to like do a lot of things on my own, which made the journey a little tedious and a little lengthy in achieving the goals that I had for myself. So now you have that opportunity to streamline your focus, get the information that you need, and also move forward from there. So I only hope that you be able to leverage this opportunity that you have. So, like I said before, Mr. Lumide Idowu would not be here. It was earlier on the call, but he cannot manage. So we have Adenike Adedosun, who is also not here. She's having a challenge, but I'm going to be giving you a brief of the conversation that she would want to have with us. And after now, we'll be sharing you the slides from each of our panelists so that you can have those slides to help you build better. The next 14 weeks is going to be very rigorous. Rigorous in the sense that you'll be in the class for 3 hours. So get prepared, get ready, and come prepared, right? This thing, they usually say that what comes free, people don't take it seriously. But I'll tell you that we have made it free for you, and you will never get this kind of capacity elsewhere. If you would do get it elsewhere, you have to pay your necks out to be able to harness this information. Because even as I am, as a founder of Revamp Brave Network, and also working to ensure that communities and young people like yourself are getting the requisite information that you need to build more capacity and also join the climate action movement, I am still learning, and I've been paying a lot of money to learn some of these things that you'll be getting for free. And trust me, our tutors are coming on pro bono. We are not paying them for this, but they are willing to give back their knowledge, their expertise that people pay tons and tons for them to be a part of. So this is coming to you for free, and I hope that you'll be able to not only leverage this information, but you use this information in your future endeavor. So when we talk about youth participation in sustainable development goals, we have 17 sustainable development goals that you all know about. I'm sure most of us here know about the 17 sustainable development goals. And the truth about it is climate action amongst all the development goals touches all the 17 development goals, because on the environment we build our food, we get our water, we get the resources that powers our lives, from power to clothes to every other thing that we need. And one of the most crucial, or what I would say one of the most beneficial, would be the oceans, right? Because the ocean helps us sink in carbon, provide us the requisite oxygen that other plants or other things would not provide us that same amount of volume. So I would say that the Sustainable Development Goals, we've tried to pack everything in the 14 weeks course that you'll be taking. And I would say that as you learn on this sustainable development goals in disguise of climate action that we've put together, you're able to understand how your own life or your own activity contributes to the broader greenhouse gas emissions and all other things that have continued to contribute to the adverse impact of climate change. And I would say that as you build this capacity as young people, you have the knowledge and the skills to consolidate all of this information to derive some ideas that you have and bring them to life. The good part of this cohort program is any ideas that you have lots of mentors that can put you through. And that's why during the classes, after your classes, we have about 15 to 20 minutes for us to have discussions on any ideas that you may have or how you want to push the ideas, and you get mentorship on how to start the work. And we'll keep pushing you with our advisories and our knowledge to ensure that you're doing what you have to do. And so, like I said earlier, we'll be giving you these PowerPoint presentations so that you can read more on that. And on Wednesday, by Wednesday, you'll be getting 3 things from us. First, you'll be getting a WhatsApp link where you can join on WhatsApp. 2, you'll be getting the course guide. So the course guide has a schedule of what each of your classes will be like and who will be taking each of those classes that you have. And then other information that you need would also be embedded in them. The classes would be recorded, so you can go back to the recording. But I'd like to say that for the classes, we would not be sharing the PowerPoint presentation because those are intellectual properties of our tutors. Except they want us to share this information, then we will do that. And lastly, Revamp Brave Network wrote a book which came out from the 2020 set. That book will be shared alongside the emails you'll be getting with the tutors, with the course guide and also the links to the WhatsApp message. And I would advise that we read that book because that sets the pace for all the courses that you will do. It is relatable, it is easy to read, and it will help you prepare better for your classes. So that link to downloading the book will be sent to you. It's a 40-page book. It's highly pictorial, so it's less than 2,000 words in all. And so it sets the pace for what you know, and it's free of charge as well. So we're doing a lot of work for young people here. Everything is free without making any payment. So without further ado, I would like us to, if you can, turn on your videos. We would like to take a picture. So if you can turn on your videos, we would like to take pictures at this point. And then we'll have the closing remark by Aziz Salau. So if you can, kindly turn on your videos at this point. Thank you all. Can we have the videos on? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you to those who have turned on their videos. Okay. Okay. So we will do one more. So we will do one more and then we are done. Okay. Okay. Thank you all so much for doing that with us. So we would like to have the closing remark. Aziz Salah will be giving us the closing remark. Aziz Salah, if you're there, could you kindly be kind enough to give us the closing remark?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Please can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Claire.
Awesome. Awesome. My name is Aziz Salau. I work as a system development practitioner, and I'm really excited to be here. I want to first of all congratulate every one of us because just like Abimbola has rightly said, it's a very rare privilege for each and every one of you guys that has been selected. And I would just advise and encourage you guys to actually take your time to make sure that you actually bring a very good stuff out of all of this. It is very important for us to continue to talk about Mother Earth. Climate change is actually very devastating, especially to the fact that we in the global south, we are actually, we emit less than maybe 1%, but we are adversely affected. So we need to make sure that we are equipped, especially as young people, to really build ourselves, build our capacities, and also understand some of these things, especially in the area we are really looking to key into and get the best value out of it as an expert, as a young person working across different spell of climate change, and as it affects our various communities. Like she has rightly said, we listened earlier to the keynote speaker, the special assistant to the president of Climate Change Matters in Nigeria. We heard some of the feedbacks from what happened, last year in Baku. Now it's road to Belém, and a lot of things are actually happening. So it is very important for us to really identify areas where we can actually, key and continue building ourselves to become an expert. For me, I do more around food systems, but when it comes to, of course, climate change, I tilt towards adaptation, and that is part of what we're actually doing in different communities in Nigeria to help them build resilience. So the journey ahead is actually very good. Like Abimbola has rightly said, it is now left for each and every one of us to take ownership of it and align it to some of the things we are already doing. And it is really about passion. Once you are passionate about it, even when there are challenges, you'd be able to scale through. So with this, I want to thank the organizers, Revamp Network, Abimbola and our team, and our partners, both local, national, regional, and international partners. Thank you so much for taking time out to be part of this again. I could remember when the whole journey started post-COVID. Now we are here. So I look forward to seeing every one of us in class. I think I'll also be taking some part of the courses with my colleague Stephanie. So I look forward to interacting with all of us. Please, let's keep updating ourselves. Let's connect with ourselves online and keep pushing. I think I'd like to stop there and hand over the mic back to Abimbola. Thank you. Over.
Thank you so much, Aziz. Thank you so much, Sarah, Stephanie, Mr. Sulaiman, Mr. Yusuf, and every single participant here. One of the goals that we hope to achieve is to ensure that we're putting you through the right track. We're not offering you money, but we're offering you capacity that weighs more than money. And we've seen students translate this into actionable plans, and they're taking up global spaces. We have lots of alumni that you can speak with. Some of them are Chevening scholars. They came out from this program. Some of them are currently on scholarships by the EU. They came out from this program. Some of them, a lot of them, and we are looking towards pairing each and every single one of you with these alumni to make your process easier. So thank you all so much. You'll be hearing from us by Wednesday, and we hope to see you in class on Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your day.